and you know, each one, whether you can defend each one depends on the particular subject matter.
I'd like to begin to wind this down in the next 5 minutes or so. Rachel?
But you've alluded to the fact that there's a case to be made on banning the Pocahontas County has some particular characteristics that might. I'm trying to figure out a diplomatic way to ask about the judicial system. I mean, what do you think? I mean, as you view the various levels of courts, you've got one circuit court judge using preemption. I mean, what do you think the chances are of this judicial system listening to the arguments you want to make?
By judicial system, you're referring to the current Supreme Court?
All the way up, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming if Morgantown, I'll give you some facts. Assuming if Morgantown appeals the decision, there's another layer, right? The court goes to the Supreme Court, or would be appealed directly to the Supreme Court?
Directly.
Okay, so the Supreme Court. Yeah, I mean, what the states.
By the way, the non-circuit judge's decision will not arrive at the Supreme Court with a lot of weight.
What did you say?
Will not carry a lot of weight with the Supreme Court. I think this court the Supreme Court is an extremely difficult court to predict right now. But I would think that 50-50 is a fair shot with the court.
They don't have to do,
They do now. There are new rules which say they have to hear and decide, not hear. They take every case and issue a written decision. They only hear arguments on the minority of cases, but they do issue a written decision now on every case.
But they don't have to recuse themselves if they have monetary interest in that industry?
I would think they would.
Hasn't happened so far, has it?
Benjamin.
Been called by some judge off years ago?
Oh, no, that was...
Did the Supreme Court say that he was okay in making that decision?
A coal baron made heavy investments in seeing a particular justice got elected. He was elected, and then he did not recuse himself from a case in which that baron's company had a $65 million case before the court. And the U.S. Supreme Court ultimately reversed that, saying he had to recuse himself in that kind of context. A very unusual decision.
This is a question, it's an opinion that if the level of knowledge in the county on the part of a lot of citizens is not up to date, that argues more for having a referendum, and that way all the sides can bring their case into the public domain. The folks who are against the frac drilling, the folks who have the leases that are in favor of it, and so on. Otherwise it's going to stay, not really well known, and we have a better chance of just having the gas companies bulldoze over everybody. It needs to be in a referendum, so it can all be in the public domain. We can show our photographs and reports and geological surveys and everything of, what are the real issues here. It needs to be a referendum so that everybody can hear about it.
Yes.
I do see that as a good way to spur education on the issue.
Yeah, you only have 8,800 people to educate, so.
I can go on the internet right now and bring out
I'm concerned, David, about the business of you all going to hire him. Has the prosecuting attorney recused herself?
We haven't considered that.
Okay, but they can't, we've already got an issue going with getting an outside counsel with, just hired, the sheriff hired him.
At this point, I'd like to see if there are any final questions or comments. Mr. Connie?
If people decide or where to do that now,
As I mentioned earlier, that could give an argument, well, it could be it could be something you could use to argue that the Florida Gas Company or whatever led you into this lease without disclosing material and critical facts, and there are doctrines and contract law which say that it might give you could give you an argument for nullification. It's close to like fraud, and that would be grounds for setting aside.
If a bunch of people who have signed for an association wanted to
Renegotiate.
renegotiate and say, we want more information prior to signing.
Well, I mean, that would also give one leverage to get the lease purchaser to consider dissolving the lease, give the money back and dissolve the lease. You mentioned earlier.
I'm going to take one final comment. Sir?
I just want to say how much, as a citizen, I really appreciate the three of you guys as commissioners of stepping straight up into what is a core and central issue for this county that isn't easy at all, and being open about it and working really hard to come to good solutions and to think outside of the box, and to really put out a call over and over again consistently for the people that are concerned and the people that want to be heard to come and to show up and to be heard. And we all know that democracy is really driven by the people that show up on every level, and the decisions that get made in the Senate. And I mean, that's real. It's not the way we teach it to kids in school, but it's the way that it works, you know. And the people that show up and make their voices heard are really count for a lot. And so I really want to appreciate everybody in this room who showed up.
To consider retaining Mr. Batchers as legal counsel, that discussion needs to be in executive session on legal grounds. At this point, I'll move to go into executive session to discuss the matter.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. 3-0. So this part of the meeting is now